Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Morgan podcast, a conversation show about sports. Specifically, this time of year, we're going to do basketball, wrestling. We talk about all year round, and occasionally we touch on some entertainment topics. To help me do it is my co-host, my executive producer, the creative engine behind everything that is the Morgan. He's our guy, Jimmy Jamreska. Jimmy, hello.
Rod, it's great to be here. No football to love, but there's basketball and wrestling, so I think I'll do okay.
Yeah, we got plenty of basketball things we could talk about. It might be the All-Star break, but don't challenge us with coming up with some NBA topics. We can do it. Helping us chop up the NBA is a man who saw Dr. James Naismith cut a hole in a peach basket and tack it up to the wall. It's our guy, Chris King. Chris, hello.
Dude kept making me get up on the ladder and get the ball out of the basket. I was tired of that shit.
Sorry, what I'm saying. Listen, we got to get one out of the way early. And you know what else we got to get out of the way early? We got to do the cold open question of the week. And Jimmy, you said it there. There's no football happening, but there is something happening that has a whole lot of people in the world tuning in. And that's the Winter Olympics. So my cold open question to you guys, no pun intended here, about the Winter Olympics is, what's your Winter Olympic sport of choice? Chris.
I mean, listen, everybody loves bobsled, luge, skeleton. Let's throw ourselves down an icy path, slide at 100 miles an hour. But what has captivated me even more this year than it has in the past is curling. Because we got a bunch of cheaters from these Canucks up north are just cheating the whole system. I'm tired of it. So curling has definitely captured me this year, Rod.
Curling is Chris's Winter Olympic sport of choice. Jimmy, are you for throwing yourself down a mountain? Do you like the artistry of the figure skates? Where are you at?
I'm big into figure skating, but this year's been weird with ice hockey, especially with the U.S. men's team. The other day against Germany, they scored a goal. No, interference. Okay. They scored another goal. No, that's interference again. I think that happened two or three times. The scores just kept changing. And I just want to know, these are supposed to be the best officials in the world, right? And the best players in the world, but we're not getting anything out of that. So that's kind of been the biggest story here, I think, is the officiating, unfortunately.
Yeah, there was the ice dancing, right? We had a bit of a controversy.
Yeah, we got screwed out of that.
Around all of that as well. Chris made mention there of the Sweden team and the Canadian team about coming to blows. The Canadian guy basically being called a liar right on national television and then being proven to be a liar because he absolutely was doing the second touch on the curling ball, sending it down towards the curling ball. Listen to me, the stone. As if I haven't been watching just as much.
Because we all know we're all experts in this, right? Every 4 years we're experts in curling.
That's the other part of the Winter Olympics that's just as fun, right? Is you act like, okay, I know what the difference between this speed skating and that speed skating difference is. Nope, zero idea, right? And I know what the difference between slope style and big air snowboarding is. Nope, absolutely zero idea. No idea whatsoever. But I do know, and I wonder if you gentlemen saw this piece of footage. On Flavor Flav, formerly of Public Enemy, who is 66 years old, okay? He didn't do a 4-man bobsled where he was in the middle of the bobsled, okay? He did skeleton, all right? He did skeleton all by his own and got up to like 66 miles an hour on that track doing skeleton all by himself. Shout out to Flavor Flav. Chris, would you ever do skeleton or luge? I might do bobsled because you seem to have some protection, but would you ever do skeleton or luge?
I think I would be willing to try luge. You're going feet first. You know, you have what I feel a little bit more protection of your more vital organs instead of going head first down. But boy, does skeleton look fun too. I think luge. Give me luge.
Jimmy, are you a luge man or are you a skeleton man?
I just freaked out a little bit with the skeleton, having that in my mind, going face. No, I'm not doing that. I think luge I would do. Definitely bobsled for sure. I think it'd be fun, but it'd also be very, very terrifying.
Do you think that the non-nutritive cereal varnish that Clark Griswold works on in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation would be beneficial to the United States bobsled, luge, or skeleton team, Chris?
Yeah, it's non-Newtonian, Rod, and yes, of course, that stuff is crazy, crazy slick. There's no friction there. We'll get top speeds for sure.
We absolutely will get top speeds. I want to ask one other question of you gentlemen real quick about something else that's going on, not Winter Olympics. And I have a feeling I know your answer, but that's why I'm going to ask you, because we have an opportunity ahead of us. Have you gentlemen had a chance to check out any TGL this year? The Tiger Woods video golf presentations. We're about 6 weeks in. Every team's played 2 or 3 opportunities. Have either of you guys checked it out yet?
I have seen some pictures and some quick highlights, but that's about it. I love it because it's something I could actually do. Would I be good at it? No, but I could be there.
Well, here's your guys' chance coming up next week. I believe it's Tuesday and Wednesday on ESPN2. There's going to be a doubleheader each night, right? So you got basically 4 opportunities to check out a TGL match next week. Good players out there, absolutely hitting darts. They're yakking at each other back and forth down on the course. That's always fun. You got Marty Smith. He adds fun to it. They got music playing the whole time, 40-second shot clock. My pledge to the viewers and listeners of the Morgan You Know podcast, and to you two gentlemen, check out some TGL. I think you'll be entertained. But I know what does entertain both of you, and that's basketball talk. But if we're talking basketball, I step aside and I allow my co-host Jimmy Jamriska to lead us on the fast break so that I can become more of a take artist, a la Stephen A. Smith. Let's run the fast break.
Welcome to the Fast Break, the fastest 15 minutes in the NBA. Jimmy, Rod, and Chris are here because, well, we just introduced ourselves. It is the second half of the season, kind of the last third of the season, but details. Couple quick things. All-Star Game. Everyone's had their piece on it. We haven't. Let's talk about it real quick for a few seconds. I like the format. It was still a little confusing, but it did what it was supposed to do. It got some competition there. Shout out to Wemby. Shout out to the young stars. And those old guys, Rod, like Chris, they just wore out at the end.
Yeah, they certainly did. You'd like to think the round robin is what made them play hard each and every game, right? Because they essentially had to look at the 12-minute quarters like a game. But if you had a format where the old guys didn't have to play 3 straight games, perhaps they wouldn't have been blown out at the end. But Chris, I kind of think that maybe just USA versus the world kind of had these guys fired up. Do you see any kind of a scenario where the All-Star Game might work with just the 2 teams and we don't have to have 3?
One thing that I liked about this was there was a competition just to get to that final game. If you just you're back to 1 game then if you're just doing USA versus the world, right? With 3 teams, or if we get enough from the world, 4 teams possibilities, right? You have much more opportunity for competition to be bred before you get to the final quarter or the final game. And I'm sorry, if these old guys are using the fact that they were tired, I mean, it was essentially 3 games. That's 36 minutes. They didn't play the whole 36 minutes. Each at most played 22, 24 minutes in that period of time, with breaks between each quarter, much longer than you see in a game. So don't give me that they were tired. I think they just gave up because they weren't playing the world anymore.
Shout out to Kawhi Leonard, too, for having, I think, 31 points in a quarter. Not bad, Kawhi. Pretty good. He's good ball player.
Did you want Adam Silver to hand Kawhi Leonard the MVP trophy in the Intuit Dome with all this still hanging
with
over
Steve Ballmer? So Adam Silver in between Steve Ballmer and Kawhi Leonard with a smile on his face. I wanted that, and then I wanted Pablo Torre coming up to do to hold the mic. That would have been fantastic.
Hey, I have a couple questions, Steve. That would have been fabulous.
Yeah, it'd be unbelievable. So we have the second half of the season coming up now. Couple things we have to go over. First of all, we have to talk about our MVP table, which is getting a little more crowded because we don't know who's going to be eligible. Giannis Antetokounmpo out already, cannot be the MVP no matter what happens. Chris, I don't think he would have been MVP anyway, right?
No, but he would have been at the table.
He would have been at the table, so he's out of the table. Nikola Jokic missed 16 games. You can miss 17 and still be okay. Wemby can actually miss 18 because he was in the championship of the play-in. SGA has missed 2 games. Cade Cunningham has missed 5, and then Wemby has missed 14. Anybody else you think should be at the table at this point for MVP is my first question, and then we'll talk about who we think is going to win it, Chris.
Is Luka already out too? How many games has he missed?
Is not out. Do you think the Lakers are in a position, though, to have someone be in contention for MVP?
I think if they end up as a top 3 or 4 seed in the West, then yes, I think it's possible.
Rod, your thoughts on Luka and the Lakers? Because we have to have the Lakers in. It's the Lakers, right?
I feel like we live in a MVP society now where defense is at least taken into account, right? We didn't give an MVP to Jokic until he improved his defense a little bit, right? We made such a huge deal about Shea and the fact that he led the league in steals last year. Chris comes on this podcast all the time and talks about defense the teams play, and he talks about stocks. So I feel like a guy like Luka, who just absolutely is a turnstile, if he does happen to qualify for the amount of games, he's probably not going to be there. And Jimmy, I ask you this. So the games played, is it kind of like we're a supper club and you got to have like a suit and tie on to be able to sit down at the table? And some of these guys are showing up without a suit and tie. Is that what's essentially happening here for our MVP table?
Yeah, a tie is not optional. I like that. You have to have the jacket. The jacket's key, Rod. You can't just come in with a shirt and tie. You got to look professional here. And unfortunately, Giannis, he didn't. He came in his hoodie, and that's about it. Giannis, I'm sorry, bud, but I don't think Jokic is going to be able. Go ahead. Yeah,
Giannis didn't come in just a hoodie, Jimmy. He came in a branded hoodie. He came in a Kalshi branded hoodie. And if
trying to bring his brother in tow.
Yeah, and if you don't mind, Jimmy, I'd like you to go ahead. There, thank you. Thank you, Jimmy. And I don't mean to derail the conversation here, but we brought up Giannis, and I've just been itching because I know that not Giannis is an actual listener of this podcast, but as Chris just made reference to, Thanasis is a big-time listener of this podcast. He's got to listen to his competition, so he's out there with Sanalysis, so he's got to listen to us. So, Thanasis, all right, tell your brother that he does not escape my scorn, okay? We all sat here as NBA fans the day after the trade deadline passed and saw this come across our timelines, and I hope all of us that have any kind of a brain in our heads sat there and said to ourselves, wait a minute, what did I just participate in? Did I just participate in some sort of sick joke to just boost stock payers and to put money in Giannis's pocket? Because it certainly seems that way, because after we had this months long will he, won't he, that you could bet on a prediction site called Kalshi, Giannis announces that he is a partner with the company and makes money like any old owner of a company. Fabulous. Oh, yeah, and Adam Silver, my guy. Don't think that you're skipping out again this week. You thought you got a lot from me last week? Oh, no, my friend. This one's coming for you, too, because I can yell at Giannis all I want, but the bottom line is when you're in America and somebody wants to come up and hand you money, it's going to be awfully, awfully hard to turn down that money. But you know what you can do, Adam Silver? You can have some guidelines. You can have some rules for your players. You can take some of the NBA players, put their hand on the desk and slap their wrist and say, no, actually, we're not doing this. You're not taking this far. You're going to stop sullying the reputation of this league by making people wonder if these things are fixed. Man, Jimmy, I'm sorry to jump in this early in the show, but I was sick and tired of Giannis, and then Kalshi happened, and it just made my head explode. Here's a guy that we used to think did everything right in the NBA, and now it seems that everything he does is wrong. And Adam Silver, do something.
Chris, is somebody who is our resident not believing anything about anything, your thoughts on this Kalshi Giannis deal?
It was the inevitable process to happen once these leagues started getting in bed with these daily gambling sites like DraftKings, FanDuel. It is the inevitable next step. The players are going to get involved in this, all right? And this just continues to grow as everyone will still believe that since Vegas has their hand in the cookie jar and they can predict outcomes better than anything, that something is not right during the games. And Giannis or whoever the next player is that's going to get involved with a company like this just sees it as if the league can do it, so can I. I'm not betting. They're just going to pay me.
So I think the only good thing that came out of this is he wasn't traded, and that was at 59% on Kalshi that he would not have been traded. But if they know he's not going to be traded because they're talking to him, either way is still kind of shady. By the way, those 17% that bet the Chicago Bulls were going to trade for him? Wow, you were wrong. They didn't even get a power forward in any of their trades, Rod.
They certainly did not. Anybody betting that the Chicago Bulls are going to make a trade, you get what you deserve, okay? But here's the problem I have, Chris, and I love what you just brought up there, right? Like, I agree a little bit with the people you were sort of throwing some shade at, that like having Vegas involved does keep some of this fixing in the open, right? They're going to be able to find it a lot quicker. I do believe in a lot of that, right? Like, I'd much rather have it in the light of day than somewhere in the back alleys. But with this Kalshi stuff, Giannis can toe the letter of the law by the NBA guidelines and still reap money off of these prediction sites, right? Because all they were predicting is, will he or won't he leave a team, right? So he doesn't have to do any sit down or let a ball go out of bounds or miss this free throw or not chase down this block. He doesn't have to do any of that kind of stuff to still be involved with Kalshi, right? All he's got to do is sit down for interviews and say, well, I love Milwaukee, but maybe it's time for me to have a new house. What the hell is that, right? He can do that and not get in any trouble with Adam Silver, because Adam Silver has no balls.
I'll clip that for sure. So back to the MVP table real quick. We know Giannis isn't going to be there. Jokic has missed 16 games, so he's got 1 game to go. SGA missed 2 games, but it looks like he's going to be back after the break. Cade has missed 5, Wemby's missed 14, and Luka has missed 12. So as we're sitting here right now, before the season gets back underway, Chris King, who is your prediction for MVP?
I don't think Wemby's going to survive. I think it goes to SGA.
Best player on the best team so far? Okay. Rod, do you think there's any chance that we're going to get all the games out of Jokic for the rest of the season?
Yes. Yes, I do. I think Jokic came back a little early. I think he wants to be in the running. I don't know if he's going to win, but I think he wants to be in the running, and I think he's going to have the requisite numbers of games played. I'm going somewhere off the board here, Jim. All right. I'm going, give me Cade Cunningham. Give me Cade Cunningham, because what I think we're going to see here is I think we're going to see the Pistons continue to run to the best record in the league. Okay. I think Cade is going to absolutely have the numbers of games played. I think Shea's going to fall off the board. I think Luka's going to fall off the board. I think Wemby's going to fall off the board. I think Kawhi is going to fall off the board. I think he's actually going to qualify for games played, because apparently Kawhi's healthy again, but there's no chance that the Clippers are going to be good enough to foster an MVP. I think you're going to see Donovan Mitchell and James Harden split votes, because I think the Cavs are going to be on an absolute tear and become the number 2 seed in the East. But give me Cade Cunningham, Jimmy.
Pistons have the 7th toughest schedule moving forward. So that doesn't, I think the good news there, Rod, if they are very, very good, they're going to beat some great teams. So he will get those votes. But I think I'm going to go 3 for 3 here. We're not going to have anybody the same. I think Jokic does it, and I think Jokic gets the MVP just because he's gone down a little bit. He was hurt for a while. Now he's speeding back up. I think he's going to be the MVP and go all the way with that.
Is there a scenario where we think somebody like a Brunson gets at least a seat at the table? I think if Rod made a great case for Cade, like I can't disagree with anything he said, but I think if New York continues to play better and it's obvious that Brunson's the best player on that team, if they end up the number 2 seed and within striking distance of Detroit, I think Brunson gets a seat at the table.
I think for sure, because look at this. In the next 2 weeks, we could have Jokic out, Wemby out, and Luka out. Theoretically, we could. So SGA and Cade would be the only 2 people at the table, and you need to have somebody else in there. So, Rod, I think Brunson is somebody who could be in there.
Could Jose Alvarado steal any votes from Jalen Brunson, because apparently he's the new king of New York? Are we a little bit worried about that? Are we
sure
worried?
Halliburton shouldn't be in there? Without Halliburton, what have the Pacers done?
That's a good one too, Jimmy. I like that. Are we a little bit worried that Karl Anthony Towns continuing to blow defensive assignments even in the All-Star game is going to just make Jalen Brunson's head explode when the Knicks try to close here down the second half of the season? I don't know. I think the Knicks are probably going to end up being the number 3 seed in the East. I think the Pistons are going to run away with the number 1 seed. I think they'll have the best record in the league. So all games will go through Detroit, even if they happen to come out of the East. And I think my Celtics, Pistons, listen to me, my Celtics are going to fall to 4th, Jimmy. I think my Celtics are going to be 4th.
All right, let's transition right into that because, well, you're the master at it. Jason Tatum. Looks like he's coming back, Rod. How pumped are you?
I'm excited, right? I mean, I don't want to not see Jason Tatum on the court. You're going to need to knock some rust off anyway. This year was always golden to me. I don't know if I was ever 100% on board with a gap year. Did I think the Celtics were going to be this good? Certainly not. But I think if you go back to our early podcast, I always said the Celtics were probably still going to make the playoffs. You know what I mean? That like Joe Mazzulla was just that much of a psycho.
You did.
That, like,
you did.
Yeah, that the Celtics were not going to be able to just, tank and be a bad team. So, you got rid of Simons, so you need somebody that can come in off the bench. I don't think Tatum's going to come in off the bench, but he's also not going to play extended minutes. So, like, he'll kind of feel like a bench player. You'll get some punch from him scoring. He can stand in the corners and shoot threes. He can rebound a little bit, right? Like, I think basically you're looking at Jason Tatum fills the role Sam Hauser has right now for the Celtics. And I love Sam Hauser, but I'd much rather have 85% of Jason Tatum play that role. And then 85% of Jason Tatum in that role, how much better does it make the Celtics? I don't think it's championship level, but it helps Jason for next year.
So you do not think this... Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this, Rod. If you're the Celtics and you said that you didn't think he'd come off the bench, so you would rather start him or in my opinion, I'd rather bring him off the bench and then you have him set up where he's more fresh and ready to go in that last half of the fourth quarter, more so than having him start and then having to sit like a good long period in the middle of this game and not stay as fresh for that last fourth quarter.
Well, Mazzulla runs a bit of a rotation now where kind of their fifth starter is kind of a bit of a wild card. He rotates in and out. Shireman started there. Walsh has started there. Pritchard has started there. Simons has even started a couple of games there. So what I think you're going to do is whoever is starting in that fifth place that nominally would be Jason Tatum's starting spot is going to go to the bench, right? And then Tatum will go out quickly, right? Like say 6 minutes into the game for the Celtics number 6 player off the bench, who's Peyton Pritchard. Right. And so then what I think you'll see is then the rotations will essentially start from there because it's the NBA. Ego matters. I just don't think Jason Tatum's going to be coming off the bench.
So, Rod, you do not think the Celtics are legit title contenders?
I do not. It pains me to say that. I think that they're going to be in the fight. But if you ask me right now, the best teams that I've seen play, because, I got the 3-screen setup down here and I try to watch as many NBA games as I can. The best teams I've seen play this year in the West. I mean, I like the way the Celtics fight. I think the Knicks have a good team in them on certain nights. I think the Cavs have a good team in them on certain nights, but the best teams that I've seen play are in the West: Minnesota, Denver, San Antonio, and Oklahoma City.
Chris, he didn't mention the Pistons there just because he mentioned a lot of teams, I think. Do you believe the Pistons are a legit title contender?
Yes, because they can get out of the East, and we have seen the Pistons go into the finals before as underdogs and kind of dominate. So when the Pistons are good, you cannot just say that they're not championship contenders, all right? If Rod thinks they're going to have the best record in the league, that's a championship contender.
No, you know what? You're right there. And Jimmy, let me amend that, right? And I think that your team and Chris's team actually proves it. The Pacers, we forget, were kind of an eyelash away from winning a championship last year, right? And nobody would have said that going into it. So you're absolutely right, Jimmy. Anybody from the East that makes it there definitely has a chance to win a championship.
Probably a ligament would have been the better term to use, but little ligament they were.
That's why you host a fast break, Jimmy.
From the championship there. So we have the East, the Cavs, the Knicks, the Pistons, the West, the Nuggets, the Thunder, the Spurs. How about those Timberwolves? We have the reigning All-Star MVP. Do they have enough, Rod, to maybe get in that legit title contender territory?
I just think that we all know that experience matters in the NBA a little bit, right? And Chris, that's what I worry about with your Pistons, right? I know they were in it last year, but they lost, right? So you're expecting the Pistons to go from losing a first round series last year to winning 4 series this year. I'm not entirely sure how that'll go. I'm not saying they can't, but I'm not entirely sure how that will go. What I've seen throughout history in the NBA is more a team like Minnesota, who's been in the Western Conference Finals 2 straight years, who has sort of hit their stride at the end of the year, both of the previous 2 years. And we all talk about it on this podcast all the time. The regular season doesn't so much matter. So if you're Minnesota and you flounder a little bit at the beginning of the year, but you get to the top 4 in the West, meaning you have home games through a little bit of the playoffs there and your matchups are fair to decent, I don't know why Minnesota couldn't be there, Jimmy, because Anthony Edwards is that good.
Yeah, I mean, they are. I do think that if they come in as the 4th seed behind Oklahoma City behind Wemby and San Antonio and behind Denver, and everybody on those teams are healthy, it makes it a lot more difficult to get to the Western Conference Finals, let alone win it. That's a brutal top 4 in the West if everybody's healthy. Now, I think if you see something like Wemby going down, that opens the door up for a team like Minnesota to really make a push.
Haven't really mentioned the Rockets, who were a preseason favorite maybe to come out of the West or at least go far in the playoffs. I know Kevin Durant has some texting or group chat things going on. Again, group chats, I say, are off limits for anything that you can be mad at somebody about. Thoughts, gentlemen?
That's a fair point, Jimmy. That is a fair point. I've been known to possibly get a little bit heated about something in a group chat and then be like, wait a minute, what am I doing here? But group chats aside for the Rockets, their offense gets stuck in the mud. I mean, their offense gets absolutely stuck in the mud, right? And like, I think that we all fall victim at the beginning of the year where we like the idea of something, but then when you actually see that in play, you're like, and so we were all like, oh, that's cool that the Rockets can't really get a shot in the last 3 minutes of the game. It'll just be up to Kevin Durant. But then like when you see it in play and the Rockets are like fumbling around all game long and Kevin Durant's holding his shorts by the start of the fourth quarter. And then we get inside 5 minutes and he's dripping sweat everywhere and he's starting to, miss shots front iron because he's a little bit tired. And then you're like, oh yeah, the Rockets really do kind of miss Fred VanVleet. So I think the group chat thing, if it does turn out to be true, Jimmy, is certainly not going to be good for guys like Şengün and Jabari Smith Jr., again, based on reports. But yeah, I think the Rockets were falling off as a contender even before this started breaking.
Well, also, I mean, Steven Adams is gone too. Think about that. 2 huge parts to their team hurt, and, clock's ticking. It really is. Also, Thompson. Who's the best Thompson twin? Will we ever know? We don't. We thought we knew who it was, but can't really make a basket. So
we know that neither one of them can shoot. That's what we know.
Valid point. And right before we go, there's a couple quick stories here. Kyrie Irving out for the season.
Shocker.
Is this tanking? Is this injury management? I honestly think it's both, but it's probably more on the side of injury management. There's no reason at all for him to come back. Chris, even you can say there's no reason for Kyrie to come back this year. We want him to be healthy.
Don't set him up like that, Jimmy.
I know.
I can't disagree because I have not paid attention to Kyrie Irving or anything that has been going on with him this year. I just know I haven't seen him on the court. Well, and it's all been about Cooper Flag down there, so I just haven't paid attention. So I'll wait until he gets back on the court.
I was going to say, Rod, is this a strategy? Is this a strategy for the Mavs to keep Kyrie kind of away?
It's certainly, listen, you probably, when you got a guy like Cooper Flag who just needs to learn his way in the NBA, maybe
18.
one season away from Kyrie Irving is good, right? But Kyrie's sort of turned a new leaf, right? A lot of guys like him in the league. He could be a decent elder statesman, so yeah, I'm not shocked that the Mavs are not interested in winning basketball games. I think that you could get some benefit to what the Pacers did back when Paul George was a Pacer, where they brought him back for a few games at the end of the year where they were absolutely done, just to kind of knock the rust off. But Kyrie's a little older than Paul George was when he came back there, so I think you probably get more benefit just giving him more healing time than even knocking rust off.
Paul George had a much more gruesome injury he was coming back from, though.
And finally, before we hit the Yeah We Know podcast, where we feel oozy all the time, but are the Bucks feeling oozy? Do you think Ousmane Dieng, Cam Thomas, Miles Turner, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, Rod, can take the Bucks to the play-in game? I believe they can.
I like that you threw in Giannis there because if Giannis wants to come back and play, he's coming back and playing. The Bucks are not going to be able to stop him. The Bucks have zero control over Giannis. We have seen that time and time and time again. So if Giannis decides for some reason that he wants to come back and play because maybe it'll boost his Kalshi stock, then he's going to come back and play. And if you have a void on your basketball team where everybody kind of looks around and they're like, hey, we don't necessarily know what to do, Cam Thomas will shoot, right? I mean, like, all he needs is that half second where everybody's like, hey, Cam Thomas? Like, don't ask about that. Just give me the ball and I'll shoot it. And so will Kevin Porter Jr., who's also on the Bucks. And Miles Turner likes to get some shots up. And Ousmane Dieng, good for him. He started with Oklahoma City, so you know that he's a good basketball player because Oklahoma City only drafts good basketball players, apparently. So I'm with you, Jim. I think the Bulls do not want to make the playoffs. I think Charlotte is going to make it out of the play-in scenario. I think they're going to be that good. And I think that absolutely opens it up. Let's go.
Chris, anything to add before we head out?
No, I'm gonna.
Fair enough.
I thought about going.
Dynamite.
Thought about going off on Mark Cuban, but we'll save that for another time.
Going off on Mark Cuban. Apparently, you don't like
Mark
to pay.
Cuban, the guy who's just walking up into somebody's neighborhood, knocking on the door and saying, "Hey, are you selling this house?" And they're saying no. And then Mark's like, "Oh, that's okay, but I'm still going to go release to the press that I tried to buy your house." What a joke.
And with that, you've been listening to the Fast Break. Now it's time for the Yeah We Know section of the More You Know podcast, because we are talking WWE. And my question for you, Rod, is what's in the box?
Hopefully it's not the remains of Terry Funk, whose t-shirt I'm wearing. It was just displaying right now. Hopefully it is not that. Hopefully it is not just like a new t-shirt, right, that they're just going to unveil on everybody. Hopefully it is not another announcement of a Saudi Arabia premium live event. So I don't know what's in the box, Jimmy, but I have a few things I hope it's not what's in.
Okay, so I think it's going to be a brand new Prime bottle, the new flavor of Prime coming out of that box, Chris. How excited would you be if you saw that?
What was the date? The 28th? Is that when it's supposed to be open?
It's Elimination Chamber Day.
Well, I mean, it's Brock Lesnar then, right?
So my question is, how do you fit Brock Lesnar in that box?
Right.
And there's a lot of things you need to do as a person that may not be good in a box, if you will.
It's the WWE. It's all magic.
It is all magic. So as far as some things
somebody
I'd like,
who could survive on jerky alone inside of a box, don't you believe that person is Brock Lesnar?
I kind of believe that person's Brock Lesnar.
Right, and he could have been standing in there sideways. We didn't see the other side of the box. It could have been much larger.
It's a gigantic box.
There could be a whole tube system happening in the other side of the box. You know what I mean? There could be a tube for liquids to exit out of said box. There could be another intake tube for H2O and other protein-rich liquids. We don't know. Somebody could be living in that box, Jim.
As Chris said, it could be a tiny home where it's like 6 feet tall, 15 inches wide, long, and then like 60 feet wide. You never know. He could be doing laps in there. That's fine. I agree. No question. So what could actually be in the box? He's done a couple of these things in the past. The box gimmick goes way back to the territories. We've had an egg before where the gobbledygooker came out of the egg. I feel that we've talked about this before. There was a Seth Rollins statue that turned into Sting that was in a box. There's been some news that Chris Jericho's contract was frozen by AEW, and he may not actually be signed to WWE. But I would like it to be Chris Jericho. I think that would be pretty cool to see Chris Jericho come out of the box. Rod, convince me I'm right. Convince me I'm wrong.
Jimmy, if it's a tiny home, did we consider Hornswoggle? Did we consider Hornswoggle inside of the box?
Could be. There could be. The next thing out of your mouth is going to be, D'Lo. Could be D'Lo. Sure.
What if could it be the world's strongest man, Mark Henry?
Could be the Haiti Kid from WrestleMania 3. Could be Mark Henry.
Only thing I know, Jimmy, is if anybody has been able to speak things into existence in the WWE, it's you. So if you keep talking, Chris Jericho is going to show up. He's going to show up somewhere.
Jimmy knows it's not Jericho. He's just trying to.
Yeah, I kind of want it to be
Jimmy,
Jericho.
Could it be Irwin or Shyster, IRS? Could it be Irwin or Shyster, bringing back the right to censor?
Could it be Vince McMahon? No chance. That's what you got.
With a good time. Don't threaten me with a good time, Jimmy. Could it be Bianca Belair? Could it be Jimmy? I'm just going to spend the rest of our time on Yeah We Know, just throwing out random names.
Have we heard about Bianca Belair? She had to have surgery on the finger again. The finger, I guess, got messed up like no other and can't do anything. She's been out a year with a finger injury, which it's got to be bad. She's got to be hating that. It's a shame because we love her. She's amazing in the ring, and we just need to get her back as quickly as possible. What a shame.
Do her and Montez Ford have like a joint contract that if she doesn't wrestle, he can't wrestle? Because we haven't seen him in quite a while either.
He's got to be there to take care of her. Got a finger situation.
Well, what about Dawkins? He can wrestle then. Does he have to be there as well?
No, he definitely has the contract where he can only appear with Montez Ford.
That's true.
No question about that. So we have a box, and then we have a masked man, Chris. And the masked man is definitely not Logan Paul. Or is it? Because he got stomped, Chris. Who is it?
Well, I don't know. Last time we talked about this, I thought it was still Austin Theory, but that's been dashed as well. So I think it has to be Rollins. I think he's playing us all for fools again. and I can't think of anybody else it could be.
Well, the good news is we know it's definitely not Rollins in the mask now. It can literally be anybody. I think they kind of have to be white with the hand situation they got going on. But other than that, Rod, so that Montez Ford is out on you.
Jimmy, could it be former WWE commentator Sean Mooney in the box? We recently just saw a reappearance of him with Becky Lynch, right, hooking him up with a Bex award. Could Sean Mooney come out of the box at Elimination Chamber, Jim?
He could be.
If it's going to be an announcer, it's Pat McAfee. He hasn't came back yet, and we know he is.
It could be Pat McAfee. It definitely could be Pat McAfee, actually, Chris. It could be Pat McAfee.
What about the Lethal Weapon Steve Blackman? Could the Lethal Weapon Steve Blackman be in the box?
Okay. Lethal Weapon could be. He could be in the box as well. He could also be the Masked Man. So we have no idea, and Rod does not care at all about these things. But what he does care
Brian
about...
Christopher. Could it be Brian Christopher? Could
Dead.
Brian Christopher be the... Oh, darn
no,
it, that's right.
Dead.
I was trying to pull the one that wasn't dead, and I pulled the wrong one.
Scotty Too Hottie would be...
I thought Scotty
could
was
be
the
Rikishi. Is Rikishi in the mask?
That'd be awesome if it was Rikishi.
This coming week, WWE travels to Atlanta, Georgia, home of AJ Styles. And we are having a tribute to AJ Styles. Chris, how excited are you for the tribute to AJ Styles this week?
I mean, I'm going to watch it because I didn't know about the Phenomenal One early in his career. I'm not familiar with his backstory, really. So I'm going to be interested in it.
Rod, there is no way AJ Styles is retired. He's wrestling again this year for WWE.
Could Luke Gallows be in the box, Jimmy? Too tall. All right. What if it's AJ Styles? Could we put AJ Styles back?
It's just AJ Styles.
After we celebrate him on Raw in Georgia.
Did they just deliver AJ Styles a week early? Is that what you're saying?
Listen, places, I at the flower shop, right, for instance, we just had Valentine's Day, okay? And we had a lot of people's orders come in, and we had some people ahead of time say, hey, if you want to deliver this on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, it's cool. We'll do flex delivery. So maybe, just maybe, whatever delivery company that the WWE decided to outsource their box delivery to decided to bring AJ Styles around a week too early. That's all I'm saying, Jim. We don't know who it is.
We talked about Brock Lesnar.
Could it be Papa Shango? Is Papa Shango still alive?
Yes. I believe he owns some establishments in Vegas. Yes, it could be Papa Shango.
Would be incredible if it was Papa Shango, wouldn't it?
Could be. Could be also Kama Mustafa.
Is Tugboat still alive?
Tugboat, I believe, is. I think he's got a GoFundMe up for something.
All right, see, then maybe that's what it is, Jim. Instead of a GoFundMe now, he can just have one final appearance as the man in the box at Elimination Chamber.
What if the Godfather is the guy in the mask and Papa Shango is the guy in the box?
Okay, AJ Styles tribute. Here's the thing about it. Why do we need a tribute after a guy walked away, Jimmy, if that guy's not going to wrestle again? So my question to you is, who's crashing the party, right? Because that's what we're doing here, right? AJ's going to come out. We're going to have, a bunch of the good baby faces are going to stand around and shake his hand or tell him how great he is or something like that, right? And then somebody's going to come out, somebody's music's going to hit, interrupt him, and is going to come out to piss all over the party, right? That's what's happening. So who is it going to be?
Well, you would think Gunther comes out to do something, but that doesn't do anything for me. Does Gunther come out to mock AJ, and then does Lesnar come out to go one-on-one with Gunther or something like that?
How about
or
this?
Obafemi.
Can Omos, what if Omos was in the box, and then Omos comes back because he has a score to settle with AJ Styles?
Good. That could happen. Is the
box big enough for Omos? Because before you were saying it might not be big enough for Brock Lesnar, so it's probably not big enough for Omos then, is it?
Probably not.
But should we bring Omos back to battle with Obafemi because Rusev isn't enough?
Well, Rusev's definitely going to beat Obafemi. Probably not, Chris, right? So I'm a little nervous.
Going with Obafemi with that one.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm a little nervous about Lesnar coming in next week because we had something happen on Raw that we really didn't see happening. We had Javon Evans winning a triple threat against Gunther and Dominic Mysterio. I see Javon Evans being amazing in the Elimination Chamber. I think he could climb to the top rope. Or top of the cage, excuse me. But I could also see Lesnar coming out and killing Javon Evans and him taking his place in the chamber, which I would think would be ridiculous. I don't know, Rod. And what do you think? What about the Gunther situation? That's kind of interesting.
So you think we got to get Brock Lesnar in the WrestleMania main event by like legitimate fashion? He's got to win Elimination Chamber. We can't just put Brock Lesnar in the match because he's Brock Lesnar.
Well, they could, but I don't think they will. I don't know what they're going to do with Lesnar. There's so many different ways they could go. I think they're holding off Gunther and Lesnar until SummerSlam, though.
Listen, if we're just going to go through regular means to put somebody in the main event scene who deserves to be in the main event scene, then the person that wins the Elimination Chamber has to be the Golden Boy, doesn't it?
Okay, so we're bouncing around, and I like that. Chris, we also had a good opportunity on SmackDown to do something different, but heaven forbid we do something different, right? Your boy, who, by the way, is the heelest of all heels, Chris. Can we just admit that now, that he comes in and interferes in all these matches? Because last time I checked, baby faces don't do that.
All I know is Drew is doing what he believes is right. These people have disrespected him for years, all right? And Drew we trust.
Rod, I thought for a second we had Sami Zayn beating Cody Rhodes, which would have been interesting because then what do you do in WrestleMania? Do you do Fatu and Rhodes? Do you do a triple threat before WrestleMania? There was a lot of different things that went in my mind in that half a second before he kicked out.
I just continue to be frustrated by the rules of the game. And I don't know who decided that the rules have to be that. I don't know who the rules benefit other than people not in my age bracket, I guess, because I don't know why Cody Rhodes has to continue to be forced down our throats here. But this, to me, is the perfect scenario where Cody doesn't get his way. And then you can finish out 2026 where Cody Rhodes is a dastardly heel doing some things that people absolutely don't like. And then you can set up some other people to become huge stars because they're playing off of the Golden Boy who's now turned to the dark side, right? I mean, how many people can you build out of that? But no, we have to just continue to do the same old thing. Drew McIntyre comes out and interrupts a match for God knows what reason. I mean, God knows what reason. Chris used to sit on this podcast and go crazy about the Usos and the Bloodline interrupting every match. And now because it doesn't actually benefit Drew and he's just doing it to spite people, Chris is cool with it. This is absolute garbage out of you, Chris.
Listen, you said it. You don't know who makes up these rules, but these rules are anything goes in these triple threat matches, all right? If you want someone to blame the WWE and Triple H for making this a situation, all right? It's perfectly legal, everything that Drew did, all right? Not the Usos would come out in a straight-up match and interfere illegally, right, when they're not allowed to. This isn't that. This is allowed. This is a perfectly legal interruption, all right?
Okay, hold on then. Hold on. You know what else is perfectly legal, Chris? Deciding to sit your best players in the fourth quarter of an NBA game because it's 100% within the rules to try to get yourself a better draft pick. But you don't like that because you say you're supposed to fight for the spirit of the game. So it's the spirit of the game where Drew McIntyre comes out and knocks a dude out of the Royal Rumble? Come on.
He's competitive, Rod. That's what I want. I want competition. That's competitive.
So, Chris, I do have to ask you this, though. He failed again. Drew McIntyre continues to fail in his goals. His goal is to keep Cody Rhodes out of that. Failed. The only thing he succeeded is barely winning one of like 15 matches against Cody Rhodes. How can you stand behind someone who fails so much?
Tell him.
Because that's life. Right? We fail over and over and over, and we keep getting up and up and up, all right? It's not how many times you get knocked down, Jimmy. It's how many times you get back up, all right? And that's all he's done. And now he has the belt around his waist. And, of course, he's going to do whatever it takes to keep it there.
Rod, you were famous.
I live vicariously through a dude like Seth Rollins who comes out braggadociously, tells everybody he's the greatest, wears feathers, has explosions go off behind him. But what Chris likes to do is come out and feel for the guys who have had just shitty go in life. Come on, Chris. This is supposed to be escapism, my man. You don't have to like the guy because he's had a shitty go of it. What are we talking about here? He's not a guy
Chris
that
needs
met
a hug.
trying to get a job down at the local union. He's a highly paid professional wrestler.
Yeah, and we've seen some highly paid professional wrestlers work hard and not get some of the recognition we deserve. Our boy, LA Knight, the unchosen one, apparently.
Great shirt. Great shirt. And we
Yes,
are
he is
bouncing
the
all around.
unchosen
Jimmy
one.
hates it when we do this to him, Chris. We just start
No,
going
it's
all
fine.
around.
I've just got to cross
I had a
stuff off
rundown
here
for
and
a
there.
show, and
I
these
love
guys
it.
just peed all over it.
Nah, it's fine. Penta beat El Grande Americano in a number one contender match for the Intercontinental Championship. It looks like Penta and Dom Mysterio will be going on for that. Maybe, because it wasn't really said when that will happen. If it happens before WrestleMania, I don't think Penta's winning, because I think we're going to get Dominic Mysterio against Finn Balor the Demon at WrestleMania for that Intercontinental Championship match. And Finn Balor, the good guy, will become victorious. I like where this is going. He's not going to win, obviously, at Elimination Chamber. Chris, your thoughts on maybe a Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio main event at WrestleMania? And by main event, I mean probably first match a second.
He's going to hate it.
I mean, listen, I have complete faith in Dominic Mysterio being able to overcome whatever's in his way. Somehow this dude is able to keep a hold of belts longer than anybody should, and he knows how to do it. So until I am proven otherwise, Dom's winning this match.
Rod, the one thing the internet agrees with you on is Dominic Mysterio's overrated. They did not agree with your solution to the NBA tanking issue, I will tell you that. But you think Dominic Mysterio, who's only won 2 matches in the past 18 months, can defeat Finn Balor? You think that's a possible Mania match, and would you like to see it?
I definitely would like to see it. I've had tongue planted firmly in cheek there when I said Dominic Mysterio was overrated, okay? Because clearly I understand that the game is not all about wins and losses, all right? I understand Dom is a skilled performer, but his record also just needs to be pointed out from time to time, okay? This man comes down to the ring, calls himself the greatest luchador of all time, the greatest intercontinental champion of all time. He doesn't even have a winning record, all right? So let's just call things for what they are, all right? But he is a skilled performer in the ring. I'm looking forward to him and the Demon going at it. And Jimmy, I'm just going to say it again. If Finn Balor wins this match and Demonito doesn't make an appearance, it's all going to be for naught.
Shout out to JD McDonough for coming back too. We like to see him alive, standing and walking. Yes, we do like to see that. Rod, question for you. What's going to end? What are we going to see first? Who's in the box, or an MFT Wyatt family end to their feud?
I must admit, I kind of don't hate that the MFT Wyatt feud doesn't end, right? Because frankly, what else are you going to do? Yeah, what else are you going to do with these guys? So kind of just always have it bubbling under, and then like when you're ready to be like, hey, we can have all 5 of you guys fight, let's do it, or all 4 of you, I guess, because there's not 5, because we're not going to have Nikki Cross face somebody from the MFT, so we have to get somebody else in there. But that's a story for another time. I'm fine with it, because honestly, if the Wyatt family are not trying to get back the Lantern, then I see no point for them to even exist. So, and I like Solo and the boys, so let's go. If they want to be Lantern thieves, I'm for it.
Shout out to Apollo Crews for making an appearance on SmackDown, and shout out to Carmelo Hayes for taking a week off. He's just in a tag match, not in the U.S. title match. Speaking of title matches, we had Jade Cargill retaining against Jordynne Grace. Huge Jordynne Grace fan, no question. Love Jordynne Grace. Think she's great. I thought it was a fine match. I mean, if it is what it is with Jade. I loved the ending where she hurt her hand and just did the one-handed finisher. Love that. Rod, I think we got to get this title offer before Mania.
Do you think that's where we're headed, though? Because I don't. I'm with you that that's absolutely what has to happen, but I don't think that's where we're headed. I think they're going to try to have the belt on her at Mania, and I think they're going to try to make her, and I think that that's absolutely a bad decision. But she's like, if we got a pie, right, for a professional wrestler, Jade Cargill's pie is like 5 of the 6 pieces are there. You know what I mean? 5 of the 6 pieces are there. So you can't fault somebody for being like, hey, this is a very, very good pie. Have some of the pie. I know that like we don't quite have the brown sugar right, and the crust is a little not as flaky as you'd like it to be, but it's cool. It's a good pie.
It's good pie.
And all of us pie connoisseurs are like, yeah, but you know what? Over here, you gave me a perfect pie. And this next match that comes up, you're going to give me a perfect pie. So I'm sorry if I don't want your imperfect pie that you keep trying to just serve down my throat. And Jimmy, we've talked about this with numerous WWE characters over the years. And while Jade has it, and while I don't think anybody has turned on her yet, we need it. We need it to come together where her matches don't feel so robotic.
So who does she lose to if she's not going to be in WrestleMania with the belt? Like who gets it, and then who ends up going up against her to make that WrestleMania match worthwhile and a good
Tiffy
beat?
time.
I mean, I think Tiffy Time's going to win. She can't win the chamber, can she?
They're totally telegraphing that for us right now, aren't they?
I know.
I'm
But
not a fan of it either, Jim.
Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill Mania match just doesn't do it for me.
It also is going to make you look bad. You're going to come out of Mania with a bad match. Tiffany Stratton's not somebody that can carry Jade. I'm sorry. She's not good enough herself.
I feel like they're pushing a Rhea Ripley versus Sky thing more than Tiffy Time to me.
I think that's actually going to be main event night 1. Unfortunately, I think they're going to have that tag team gauntlet or something like that. Might be main event night 1.
Yeah, they haven't cooked it up enough to have Rhea and Ia fight at WrestleMania yet.
I don't think so yet, Chris. I think that's something that's going to happen down the line, just like Alexa Bliss and Charlotte.
Well, no, I'm saying Rhea beating Io in Elimination Chamber to get to WrestleMania, and have Rhea fight Jade in WrestleMania. But if you're saying Jade needs to get the belt off of her, who takes the belt from her that's going to be good in WrestleMania?
Zelina Vega.
Honestly, yeah, Zelina would be fine. No, that's the tough thing, Chris. That's what they have to do. So you want that entrance at Mania. I think that entrance would be great. But again, it's going to be a third, fourth match on the card, and I don't think it's going to show the women's division in its best light, although there are ample opportunities to do so throughout the card. Speaking of Elimination Chamber, we have the men's chamber, the final, not the final, but the up-to-date. We have LA Knight, Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, and Javon Evans. Women's chamber, Rhea Ripley, Tiffy Time, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka. Looks like 2 pretty good matches so far, Rod.
Yeah, I'm not going to be mad about the majority of people that you've given me there. I'm not going to be mad about Javon Evans. I certainly see the talent, but Jimmy, I'm a little bit worried, okay? I'm a little bit worried. We saw a little bit of this with Penta. Penta comes up, and Penta wins his first 7 matches, and Penta's absolutely blazing hot, and then there's nowhere for him to go because, I'm sorry, we're talking about Brock Lesnar coming in and winning Elimination Chamber and being in WrestleMania, right? We got Roman Reigns, we got Cody Rhodes, we got Drew McIntyre, we got CM Punk, maybe Seth Rollins is behind the mask, you know what I mean? There's nowhere for Javon Evans to go. So I think you're kind of doing him a disservice by vaulting him up the card this far. Sure, it gives him an ample opportunity to do cool shit inside the Elimination Chamber, Jimmy, but it's then going to make him look a little bit like Penta did, where you look like a bat out of hell, and then you lose a bunch of matches in a row, and then you're sitting at nowhere, and what did you really gain?
Well, that was kind of his gimmick in NXT, where he did great but lost a lot. I don't think that's going to happen right away. I think it's going to be a little longer than it was with Penta. Penta's still over so much. That entrance is great. His actions are great. But I think him getting beaten with an RKO in the middle of the Elimination Chamber, which I think is what's going to happen, I think that'll be okay for him, Chris.
Yeah, I can definitely see him going out as an RKO. I also think I have learned enough from you guys that just because he won that match and he's tentatively in the Elimination Chamber right now doesn't mean he makes it to the Elimination Chamber. We could see a whole number of scenarios where he supposedly takes a bump in a match next week and then can't go to Chamber, so gets replaced by somebody that they really want in there. So you never know.
Okay, guys.
They just added Austin Theory one year. They just put Austin Theory in there, even though it was one more number than they were supposed to have.
We've got to look at this LA Knight shirt. Guys, have you seen this LA Knight shirt? Crossing the Delaware with the United States Championship. What is going on? What is this? And it's $45.
It's Americana. It's Americana right there.
I don't know why he's got to push this one, though. Chris made mention of the shirt of all shirts earlier Unchosen.
I love the Unchosen one. Because I went to see if it was you could use the code for it, but it's still too new for the code. So I ain't paying $35 for an Unchosen shirt.
But that's nice. But yeah, see, but Unchosen speaks to LA Knight, right? And then
I do like that. But what speaks to me, though, what is going on with that? Just as General George Washington led his army into battle at Trenton, LA Knight charges into the ring, backed up by WWE Universe. Everyone say, yeah.
Who's that behind him? Is that like just some random colonial soldier, or is that supposed to be somebody?
The people in the painting. Listen,
so it's just a random colonial soldier.
Random colonial soldier. Yeah.
It's not Papa Shango. It's not JBL.
It's not Papa Shango. It's not JBL. It's not Val Venus.
Is it Hurricane?
Actually, that could be Hurricane. That could be Hurricane.
Is it X-Pac?
And with that, you've been listening to the Yeah We Know podcast, the More You Know podcast. Thanks for listening, everybody. Chris, take us home.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Goodbye, Internet.
I really do think that it's Erwin R. Shyster in the box. And if it's not Erwin R. Shyster, it's everybody's favorite D'Lo Brown.
Could it be Edge?
You think you know me?
Christian.
Is it some random guy trying to
Hardy
fight
Boys?
Matt Hardy? Is it some random guy trying to fight Matt Hardy at a Walmart? Is that who it is? Did you guys see that?
Okay,
clip?
actually, it could be the Hardys because they're actually in the company, but, well, company adjacent, TNA.
Did you see
Kenny
the guy though
Omega.
trying to fight Matt Hardy at like a random Walmart or whatever? Like that was a real thing. This dude didn't know who like Jeff Hardy was and was like trying to start smoke with him.
Yeah, you're in Walmart.
Of course.
Well, what are you saying about Walmart, Chris? I don't go to Walmart. I go to Meijer. Nobody starts fights at Meijer.
That's why you go to Meijer. If you're in Walmart, expect a fight.